Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Valerian, the City of 1,000 Planets. Luc Besson is back, delivering what on the surface seemed to be a spiritual sequel to The Fifth Element. Thus, I was on board right off the bat. I am always going to be on board with original sci-fi. Now, I know this comes from a comic book series, but it's not a sequel. It's a new kind of cool property in the hands of Luc Besson, who has delivered great work in the past. And, to be honest, I enjoyed Lucy more than most people seemed to. I was able to get past the negatives and enjoy the positives for what they were. Thus, I was pretty excited for this movie to come around. But ultimately, I think I wanted to like this movie more than I actually did. But that's not to say that it does not have a lot of positives, so let's go ahead and talk about the good first. I'd be amiss if I did not discuss the visual effects to start off our positives, because they look gorgeous. There definitely were a few moments where it felt Star Wars prequel-esque with the green screen and the CG, but for the most part, I thought all the characters looked great. The character designs were gorgeous, they were inventive, they were fun, whimsical, funny. I thought the character designs in general and the different alien species were wonderful. But the CGI and the effects on those species also were very strong. I also thought the world building was very strong. We had different dimensions and ways to get into these markets and dimensions. That was wonderful. We saw that beautiful, just like beach planet in the trailers, and it looks just as gorgeous when it is in the film. And the world building in Alpha, where we get those 1,000 planets, was really cool too. It had a very Zootopia vibe, where you would bounce from one place to another. We went undersea, we went into like jungle atmosphere, into like these little bubbles. So all of those were really cool. And the movie is quirky, it is fun, it doesn't take itself super serious. All of which works really well. And I can always appreciate a sci-fi that's main goal is to create this kind of fantastical place and deliver just a fun movie. It's not trying to be super serious, super dark. It had a light color palette. The score was bouncing and vibrant, so it just aimed for a certain tone and feel. And overall, I'd say it mostly got there. Now, if you're headed into this movie as a Rihanna fan, just to see Rihanna and support your girl, she's going to show up on our positives and negatives. But here we are in the positive section, and the positive is she's really good. I thought her acting was actually really strong. She had some nuance in there. She delivers what she's supposed to deliver. She had comedy, some heart underneath there. And even when it's just her voice, I thought she was very good, and actually one of the shining spots in the acting performance here. And the other things I want to touch on in the positives aren't full positives, so they're going to lead us into the negatives, and it's all kind of just going to blend together from here on out. So I thought that the comedy and the quirkiness worked well in doses. So when it was used as part of this inventiveness of the world building, it worked really well. Like there's this segment where we have this virtual reality and you're able to kind of control somebody else. That was really fun, it was really funny, and it worked really well. But then we had other moments and other characters that are introduced that didn't work as well. Or at the very least, should have been kept to more of a minimum. We have these three like bird creature things that could have been used kind of funny if we just saw them in passing and a little interaction. But they are in the movie far too much, and they don't really serve much of a purpose. So their shtick gets old very quickly. And I think the movie suffers from that, actually, across the board. Too much of the shtick starts getting old too quickly. Not much here actually evolves. So it all kind of feels a little bit tired. And then Luc Besson himself, as a director, I thought he did a great job. It's beautiful to look at. There is a clear, beautiful vision happening here. However, Luc Besson as a screenwriter is a huge negative, and actually the biggest negative to this film in general. The dialogue all felt really clunky. It never flowed naturally. There are some good speeches here, some good moments of great dialogue, but it never feels like true interactions. It never feels like actual conversations taking place. It feels like a clunky screenplay throughout. Plus, it's about 20 minutes too long. I think there are moments that could have and should have been cut out. There are side adventures that serve no purpose to actually moving the story forward. They could have been completely cut out, and we would have just streamlined the entire process. And it would have just made the film a better film in general. There are characters in this movie that don't need to be here. They don't serve a purpose other than to have this wacky, weird little adventure. Ethan Hawke is in this movie, and his role is literally pointless. I don't know what they paid Ethan Hawke to show up on set for 5 minutes to do, but his role is pointless. And that does lead us back around to Rihanna and the negatives with Rihanna's character. She's a MacGuffin. She literally comes into the story to serve this one purpose in a side plot line that serves no purpose to the story. It is weird, it is wacky, and it was kind of like my least favorite part of the movie. So I feel bad for Rihanna because she gave it her all. She was really doing what she could with the role she was given, but the role she was given was pointless. And I said this movie really goes for this tone. It really goes to be this quirky, fun, lighthearted sci-fi film. And I said it mostly achieves that, but what holds it back are two leading actors. Now, I don't think Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne are bad necessarily. I do think that they are trying. I think that they are giving it what they can. But you cast two kind of low-key actors in these roles and ask them to be over the top, ask them to be charismatic, ask them to be funny, and they're not charismatic actors, even in the slightest. So I just think Cara Delevingne and Dane DeHaan were wildly miscast in these roles. And I think they were cast in these roles to give it kind of an indie cool feel, but instead it made the whole thing feel kind of flat. So it's being compared to Guardians of the Galaxy, and Dane DeHaan is no Chris Pratt, and it is evident throughout the entire film with these two, just how low energy they are, even when they're trying to give off energy. And it's also held back because it's so focused on this romance. A romance I wish had been completely cut from the film. First, because I just don't believe Dane DeHaan in this role at all. I don't believe him as this lady killer. I don't believe him as this amazing agent. I don't believe him in these action scenes at all. And then we get him with Cara Delevingne together. They have a little spark of chemistry. They don't ever feel compatible. You're not like rooting for this romance. You don't feel the romance. And we start off on such a kind of negative, sour note that it doesn't really feel authentic. It doesn't feel genuine. And I don't care. So I wish they had just done away, made them straight up partners, and not had this ongoing like romantic subplot happening, because it really just dragged everything down. So ultimately, Valerian is kind of an unfocused mess. We do have a singular storyline in which we're trying to solve, which also is super predictable. So they create this kind of mystery to go throughout, but it's a really predictable mystery that you guess as soon as it's introduced. But they tack on all of these side characters and all of these side plots and make it just this convoluted, kind of all over the place mess of a narrative that goes on about 20 minutes too long with lead actors. But it is gorgeous to look at. When it's on, it is really fun. So if you like sci-fi movies, if you like space adventures, if you like Luc Besson, then I say give this a matinee. If you are at all interested in seeing Valerian, you should see it on the big screen because it is gorgeous and it is a movie that is served in the theater. But if you saw these trailers and thought it looked cheesy or thought it looked corny and just had no interest at all, I actually think you could skip this one. I don't think it does anything in the film that's going to change your mind from your initial reaction from the trailers. So, that is my review of Valerian, the City of 1,000 Planets. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Valerian? And what is your favorite original sci-fi space film? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!